From the San Francisco Chronicle, police arrest person in Bay Area. Viral video suspected of keying Tesla in Costco parking lot. I love how they say suspected, and here's a picture of him doing it.
Right.
You know what's fascinating to me is that Tesla vehicles have, do I have another one of these? Yeah, so we have this terror suspect was filmed engaged in an anti-Tesla attack in Dallas-Fort Worth. The FBI is looking for any information to bring him to justice. They're saying to call the FBI field office. Do these people not know that Tesla vehicles are covered in cameras? So what we're seeing, which I think is terrifying, I don't really care if someone gets their car keyed. You know, nobody gets hurt. It's damage. You go to jail for it. I think isn't this guy being charged with a felony? Mm-hmm. He's being charged with felony destruction or something like that.
Felony vandalism, something like that.
Is that what it is? Arrested person keying was prompting a response to the city's mayor. A video apparently recorded by the Tesla itself because they have cameras all over the place. Let's see, Chief Paul. I thought it was I don't know if it's in here as a felony.
We have this story. I can find it.
Yeah, see if you can find it. I thought it was felony destruction of property or something. The crazy thing about all of these attacks, be it the arson at the Tesla dealerships, is what foments these things. Earlier you were mentioning that it's organized, Amber. Mm-hmm. It kind of is and kind of isn't. I would refer to this as the ice bucket challenge of terrorism.
Yeah, I think that's fair. They're not like meeting in a central location and sending out terrorists.
They're going on TikTok,
right,
seeing the video, and then running out to join in the trend.
Felony vandalism.
Felony vandalism. Good. Lock them up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that the more people that actually see serious repercussions from this, the better. Because there's nothing that's gonna disincentivize people from this unless there's
I don't think it matters.
Government doing something. You don't
I
think
don't
so at
think
all?
they're going to care either because they want to get arrested. Look at Congress. Every time there's a
they want to get arrested for the attention, but they don't want to go to jail for a long time.
Yeah, but we're once again, that's why it's the ice bucket challenge of terror. When they perp walk, it's a celebration for them.
That's a martyr. I mean,
right.
And plus, what about this administration would make you think that they're not going to take this seriously? I mean, they literally just deported a professor who attended a funeral of a top Hezbollah official. Like, they're not playing around.
Remember that guy whose name we forgot lit himself on fire?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I
remember his name.
I remember his name, but I'm not going to say it.
Same.
I don't remember. I recommend people not immolate themselves like this. Why would someone do that?
The guy who did it outside the Trump trial?
There's been like 7 of them, by the way, in the past year and a half.
What was it? It was over Israel, right?
Yeah.
Was it over Israel?
There was an Israel guy, yeah.
So when I think we pulled this up yesterday and we talked about it, there was a guy who vandalized a bunch of Tesla chargers and set fires and then spray painted "Long Live Ukraine." And I'm like, this guy doesn't know where Ukraine is on a map. 3 years ago, he didn't know Ukraine existed. What drove him so insane? And that's the point. With the stuff that we're seeing, if you say we're gonna arrest him and Trump's gonna come in, they will cheer for this. We're talking about people who have nothing in their lives. They have no faith. They have no purpose. They have no moral structure. They want only to appear in the videos displayed in front of other people. Here's an example. You guys ever see any of the thousands of videos where a guy will take 2 milk jugs in a Walmart, dump them all over himself, slam them on the ground, and then scream, what was that? I'm a big, beautiful baby or something? Something like this?
Just, it doesn't really matter what they scream, apparently.
These people are so desperate for attention of any kind. These are the kind of things they're willing to do. So if Trump comes in and arrests them, they're going to be crossing their fingers, please, Perp Moggy, please, please, please. And all the leftists will film them and cheer for them and encourage more.
Like Luigi Mangione.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, so then do you have an opinion as to what should be done?
I've been saying this. Phil, you've been saying this. There's no off-ramp. To quote the great Phil Labonte, you said this 2 years ago, last year, there's no off-ramp. And that's kind of the point I'm making. The action you take to stop the violence will be used as a weapon because it makes them feel good.
Right,
so
it makes
you
them
can't
feel like they're over the target.
And you can't do nothing because they're the instigators.
Well, putting them in jail forever makes me feel good.
Agreed. So I'm not saying don't lock them up.
to El Salvador.
I am saying
Guantanamo Bay.
Gee, yeah, get Mo, man.
Hi.
why not?
I love the idea.
We're talking about people who are committing acts of terrorism.
Yeah.
So
Fine, go with other terrorists.
Bring waterboarding back, man.
let me tell you.
Of course, the same people
Where's
who say
Dick
that.
Cheney when you need him?
I know, right?
Why did we drive him out of the party again?
We were talking about religion the other day, and moral philosophies with Eleazar. That was really fascinating. And this morning I decided to do an assessment on the whole Sam Cedar video with Eleazar and how Sam had a decade to Google search utilitarianism and didn't do it, which kind of blew my mind. Because I debated him like 7 years ago, and he said, "I don't know what that is," and I'm like, "Okay."
And he never figured it out.
Never looked it up. He never. So anyway, I digress.
Concept.
In this conversation, we were talking about the requirement of moral tradition and moral foundations for a nation, and I got to thinking about this balance between your principles and war. We were discussing things like war between good and evil, and you know what I just said? I thought to myself, I don't care anymore. Look, you're not going to win a debate with a man who's intent on breaking into your home to murder and rape you. Like a guy kicks your door and screaming, "You're evil and you're a demon and I've come for you." You can't be like, "Well, have a seat, sir. Let's debate this. I have rights."
Yeah, you can't do much with a guy like that.
But we're dealing with a left that is burning down Tesla facilities, shooting guns into Tesla vehicles. These are people who have previously taken over parts of cities. What debate do we think we're going to win with these people?
And it's incredibly ironic, by the way, because that same group of people does subscribe, at least vocally, to the theory that you can talk people down from committing acts of violence, because this is the group of people that wants to send social workers along with police officers to respond to people who are having mental health crises and are likely to turn violent, and then they make the situation worse.
I'm not sure if they even believe that it's going to that it actually is going to work. I think that they just don't want to see police doing things. They don't want to tell people no.
Maybe.
They don't want to have the police.
I've sat on a show with some people
law.
who are actually dumb enough to think that that's real.
They do want police, though. When something happens to them, they want police.
Yeah,
right away.
a viral video from I think 2018 was the Seattle cops Antifa attacked a guy. He was backing away from them. He didn't fight them, and the cops grabbed him and arrested him and apologized to Antifa. And I kept telling these conservatives, like, why are you back in the blue? Like, in where you live, maybe, but not in Seattle. These are all Democrat-appointed guys. And then it wasn't until COVID lockdowns that people on the right started stepping on the thin blue line flag and saying, screw this.
Well, there was this crazy story we covered at the Daily Caller of this FBI agent, I believe he was. I'd have to double check my work on that, but he was fired under the Biden administration because he refused to execute a search warrant against Patriot Front because they were trying to basically up their stats on hate crimes. And Patriot Front went to this protest of like Drag Queen Story Hour or something and didn't engage in any acts of violence, were totally peaceful. But the Biden administration nonetheless fabricated the details in the search warrant. The search warrant itself actually just got released today through a court order because this guy sued. And they just made things up and gave it to the FBI agents and said, you need to go execute this and arrest these members of Patriot Front. And the guy said, no, this is bogus. And they canned him.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard that story. But I mean, look, I have very little problem with rounding these people up and throwing them in jail. And I don't, whether or not there is going to be a positive result for the nation by doing that, I'm less concerned. I just want to see these people punished for being the garbage that they are.
I would say that I would feel sort of differently about the whole thing if you didn't have leftist pundits, commentators, and politicians backing the arsonists, agitators.
I want to put them in jail too.
Yeah, but like that's the thing that I find really troubling. It's not just that there's this undercurrent of violence; it's that it's being actually boosted and encouraged by the leaders on that side.
Yeah, I mean, it's just because so there's an argument that
the leader of the Democrat Party, Bill Burr.
Right.
There's an argument that the left doesn't believe in anything
Burr?
except for power, and that kind of that's really demonstrated by things like the left making all kinds of excuses, leftist judges saying, oh, we're not going to punish this person, or time served for people on the left, and extremely strict sentences for people on the right.
So I have a question for you guys. Let's say that they capture somebody who is just about to light a Molotov outside a Tesla dealership. What do you do with a person like that? Prison?
Well, you read them their Miranda rights and you charge them with attempted.
You don't read them the Miranda rights.
Of course you do.
There's no investigation happening.
You arrest them.
Nope. Only if there's an investigation happening and you need to question them.
If you arrest someone, they get Mirandized.
That is not correct.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
That is not correct.
I'm pretty sure.
Miranda rights are only if the police are investigating something and they're required to ask you questions. If the cop witnesses you engage in the action,
Well, sure, if they do that, yeah.
So,
but if they drag you in, they have to tell you that you have the right to remain silent and have an attorney.
if you are being questioned.
Sure.
So at 99% of crimes where the cops arrest you as you're engaging, like you get to a bar fight, you're not getting Mirandized. Well, if you're at a riot, you're not getting Mirandized. But outside of that point, it's funny because I really want to bring that up because liberals always, when they're getting arrested, yell, "I have not been read my rights," which means literally nothing. But what I'm thinking of is, in the event we capture these people who have committed domestic terror, in all seriousness, we can say lock them up, Guantanamo, whatever you want to say. But what do you actually do with these people? Can they be reformed? Can they be rehabilitated? Is there a certain amount of time where they will see the error of their ways?
I don't know if they will see the error of their ways.
Can you re-educate them?
I don't know that
Re-education?
works.
I
don't think it
does.
does.
I don't want to get sent to a re-education camp if suddenly it's the other side in charge.
I don't think the re-education
But that's
works.
the issue. That's the question of war. Hassan wants you in a re-education camp.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And now the funny thing is, there's nothing they can educate you on because they have no coherent understanding of the world. I mean, for the love of all that is holy, Sam Cedar had 7 years to Google one word and he didn't do it. And he got humiliated by Eleazar in this video. It was so bad he's getting interviewed by the corporate press asking him why it went so poorly. And his response was, "I wanted him to hang himself. I wanted him to just talk so he could expose himself." And it's like, my dude, he asked you and he didn't know. So these people can't re-educate you if they don't even know what these basic words mean. But that being said, I think we could properly re-educate these people. I am not saying we should because I don't know that they can be rehabilitated. I'm saying some people lack the cognitive ability to understand the information you present them.
They don't re-educate, they demoralize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so in all seriousness, we arrest them, we put them in prison for long periods of time, and then what? History tells us that people of deviant or amoral persuasions do not rehabilitate. You put them in prison, they don't change.
Well, because they don't want to give up their belief system. That's their belief system.
But and their belief system is literally just a chaotic, destructive force.
Yes.
So then the question is, prison for life for terrorists?
Well, you should bring back three strikes laws for sure.
Well, we did have prison for life for the terrorists of the 9/11, right? They're still at Guantanamo Bay, and they haven't been prosecuted because their attorneys successfully claimed that their rights were violated. So they haven't been prosecuted, and they were almost set free and returned to, whatever hellhole they came from. But the Biden administration, under pressure, put a stop to it.
I was thinking about the gulags and how communists like to say maybe after breaking rocks for a few years, you might come to change your mind. And the communist strategy is not to actually re-educate as if you're lacking information. It's to torture to the point where you beg them, "I will do anything you say. Please make it stop."
Mm-hmm.
Right.
This is what communists have historically done.
And when it comes to like the gulags and stuff, there were always like 10-year sentences of hard labor, and the other people in the gulag with you is who kept you in line because there were so many people in the gulag. They didn't have enough guards to actually keep people in, so it was always based on random punishments, and so they would keep each other in line and stuff. And I don't see that that's a solution here in the U.S. I think that, I think that we should just toss them in jail and throw away the key, because you can't.
That's not permanent. I mean, we're talking about Bill Burr.
You're always going to have left.
Right. My point is, Bill Burr. What we are not talking about 10,000 people across the country. We are talking about potentially 10 million. We are talking about when you see the arson against all of these Tesla dealerships, which again, I think it's like, 16 or some odd attacks. There's no organized body instructing them to go do it. It is the ice bucket challenge. Mm-hmm. They are going on TikTok. They are seeing people say do it, and they're going and doing it.
Well, I think the only thing that you can do is charge people with crimes if they've committed crimes, put them through the legal system, put them through the proper, the appropriate punishment. And you can't lock people up because they disagree with you. If you are a crazy leftist and you're not committing violence, then that's your right to be a crazy leftist and not commit violence.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.